All right, Al. What do you think? Are you ready? You know what? I meant to watch the indie direct and I didn't.
Oh, I
I
didn't
didn't
either. I
watch
totally
it.
forgot that happened.
Ah, there were some cool Zelda-like games actually that were shown too. So
We are horrible podcast hosts.
this we're on a real streak here, as we'll talk about when we start the show. All right, you good?
Yeah.
Chat, you good? How do we look? How do we sound?
I feel like that would give me a headache after a minute.
Okay. Hey, buddy. You good? We're gonna podcast. Wanna hang out with us? Okay. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zelda Cast here on ZeldaDungeon.net. My name is Andy Spiteri, joined by Allison Aletha. What's up, Al? How are you?
I'm great. We're doing a lot of shenanigans in the pre-show stuff, so I'm just like, Andy's messing with the camera. I am more tempted every week to interrupt you in the intro. It's fine. It's great.
It's gonna happen one of these weeks too, and when it does, we'll include it in the bloopers.
I love it. I love I feel like we should have those more often now because I feel like we do have some goofy stuff that happens pre-show or whatever and like have it at the end. That would be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. There is a lot of. So we're trying some new camera work this week, and I don't. I can't say that it's working. I don't know that it's improved anything, but we're trying it nonetheless. So I don't know. Well, it was fun if nothing else.
Yeah.
So
It was a fun experiment. We tried. That's what's important.
all right. Well, I have to start the show off with an explanation and a public service announcement and a and an apology for last week. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's what happened, okay? Actually let me even go back even further. So the show goes out as usual on Monday, and it's really funny because our producer Cal, I've kind of got together with him, and he's going to be doing some more of the editing for us. And I was just like, oh my god, amazing! So I was showing him how to do it, and we spent an hour or so together, just kind of like going over the process. It's very easy, and he already kind of knows most of it. And so I'm just like, you know what? If you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. Like those happen all the time. So I should have knocked on wood because the episode goes out on Monday, and I got a message in Discord, and then I got a message on Blue Sky, and then I got a message on Instagram, and then I got a message on Spotify, and then I got a message like every conceivable place. YouTube was there, everywhere you could think of for someone to tell me that I have uploaded last week's episode again by mistake. They let me know. So I do apologize. Here's what happened, okay? So for years and years and years, after the episode was done recording, I would always ask Allison, I'm like, what episode is this? And she'd be like, 271 or whatever. But when we started streaming the shows, which I think is after we rebranded to the Zelda Cast,
Mhm.
I didn't need to do that anymore because I had like the VOD, and I would just name it or whatever. So we right before the marathon, so we took a week off, and then we came and did the show at the marathon, which Cal edited. Okay, so he has the file name, and so we're doing the show the week that we get back. It's kind of like the marathon recap show, and I'm like, I have no idea what episode this is. I think it's 379, and so I file it, I name it episode 379, and I'm like, okay, great. And then when I'm editing that week's show, I'm like, oh wait a second, this is actually 378. So I rename the Premiere Pro file that I'm working on, okay? and I put three like the file in there, but I didn't rename the actual file itself to 378. I left it as 379. So I was putting together this week's show or last week's show, and I go to my Google Drive folder, and I didn't upload the new episode, which sometimes I don't do, and I'm like, I got to go back down and upload it. But because there was a file in there that said 379, I was like, oh, good job, Andy. You've uploaded that episode. Download. So I'm downloading it, and then I put the music together, and I put the... Yeah, because like editing for me is like a super simple process now. You basically, you put in your ad, you put in your intro music, you put in your outro music, and you put in the file. So I have to say, like, Al and I are at a point, like, with our podcasting career, like, there's almost nothing we need to edit out now, like, in a show. I can't remember the last time that I edited out something, like, in our conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like we've gotten better about that.
Omega still has, like, sometimes, especially when Gooey comes on, he'll drop an F-bomb here and there, so I'll edit.
No!
Yeah.
Ooh.
I love you, but yeah. But even Omega, actually, like, I used to have to edit out Dax F-bombs all the time, but now I hardly edit out anything, so, like, even those ones, it's just, like, pretty simple, like, slam, bam, wham. But yeah, this... So I had, like, the new intro music, the new ad, the new outro music, and... But the old file, and I did not even listen to it, and I was like, great, here we go. Yeah, because I think we were like, Sam and I were going for dinner or something like that, so I can't remember if I did it before or after, but I was kind of like in a little bit of a time crunch to do it. Mm-hmm. Dude, oh my god. So yeah, every possible way that someone could let me know that I had the old file up, they did, and I appreciate it. I'm not trying to make it sound like I don't, because it was, oh my god, I cannot believe I did that. But, so I was like, I re-uploaded the file, like, with the correct episode, but, like, and no one was able to download it. Like, you had to, like, clear your cache, you had to do a bunch of stuff, so I ended up just, like, re-uploading the whole thing. Oy, oy, oy. Mm-hmm. That's my story.
Well, that's a mess,
let's hope for better this week.
Messes happen. And I feel like that was the first time in, 379 episodes that something like that has ever happened, so...
You know what, I will say, so I was doing an episode of Omega, and it was actually kind of like a big episode. It was mapping Metroid for Sanctuary Fortress. So that's kind of like a big sub-series of ours, and I had scheduled it to go out, and I forgot to actually upload the audio file in Podbean, so like the text went out, but like there was no podcast attached to it. So that was this is like the second big snafu in that long.
I feel like the worst one that we've ever had, and this was on me, is we first started streaming on Twitch, and I had forgotten that you need to activate your channel to make VODs.
Yes.
So we streamed, but there was no VOD. And I was like, don't worry, it'll be a VOD. And it was fine. And I'm pretty sure that was like an E3 episode or something of that nature. And we had to do it all over again. And I felt so bad. And you were really nice to me about it, but you didn't have to be because you were so angry. And oh my God, I felt so bad. So like,
And I remember we redid the show, and I think that was like the Tears of the Kingdom, like a big.
Oh my God,
reveal.
it was a big episode, and it was also not at our standard time that we were recording.
Yeah,
it was rough. It was so rough.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a tough one.
And I don't think anybody would have known any different because we pulled it off. Like we recorded it just fine,
And I think at the same time, there was something that was messed up with Omega, too. I want to say it was E3, like, 2021, or, like, something around there. And Omega got messed up that same day, too, and I was just like, oh, my God. And it was kind of like, I think Dak had messed something up on his end, and I was just like, oh, God. So, yeah, this podcasting business, I tell you, sometimes is...
But again, like
it's a tough one.
These little things that happen, but there's 380 episodes, or in Omega you have 280 episodes, and so like you're 500, 600 episodes into this game, and you only have like 3 or 4 really bad stories. I feel like that's pretty good.
Not too bad, but you definitely remember the ones that you mess up more than all the ones that go smoothly. So,
yeah, true.
I'm sure Gooey's had to just do like a bunch of outrageous stuff for he had its virtual theater, and like he's a way better editor than I am. Like he is like he will take out like like all of our like awkward pregnant pauses or like or when we're talking over each other. Al like Goo will edit that out. So like he's really good at podcast editing, and I actually want to say that he offers podcast editing to people like for like a like a charge. If anyone is looking for a really good editor, but yeah, those things happen, by God, and we're all praying that this week's episode gets uploaded the right way. And actually, it will because Cal's gonna do it, and I have more faith in him than I do me at this point.
I love that. I have so much faith in Cal. I'm so excited.
Yeah, he's gonna crush it, man. Cal is so awesome. I just want to say great on this podcast, like just for everyone to hear. Okay, let's talk about some Legend of Zelda here, Al.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We put out the call for Zelda's percentages, everyone's favorite game show in this Zelda business, and the premise is incredibly simple. We read a statement, and then we assign a percentage to that statement based on how likely to be true that statement is. 100% means that it will come true as sure as the sun rises and sets, and 0% means that there is no earthly chance of this ever happening, ever. And then we're usually going to land somewhere in between. So, yes, it is time for Zelda's percentages. And this episode is pretty much brought to you by everyone in Discord, because we did put out the call, and we were just like, hey, does anybody want to contribute some Zelda's percentages? And basically, the entire show is pretty much like everyone's like kind of fan Zelda's percentages. So very, very excited, very happy that everybody gave us such good content to talk about. I barely even made any of my own, actually. I think I have like 2, and then yeah. So I guess that's really it. Other than that, Al, I think that we are good to get going. If you're good.
I love how you explain like 100%, 0%, and like. But you don't like those. You don't, and you don't like 50% either. You like literally hate it. And so, and I'm like, I'm so sure though. Let me be sure.
I just like here's the thing, okay? There's no such thing as 100% certainty of anything. Even I said this, like the sun could explode tomorrow, like a supernova could happen, right? Like, and same with 0%. Like I don't like, Al, as my friend Yoda once told me, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Okay, Andy.
Did Yoda say that, or was it Mace Windu? I was hesitant.
Pretty sure it's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh boy, let's move on. Okay, so this is our first Zelda's percentages, and it's from Josh W. The next Zelda game yet to be announced. The BBEG will be someone other than Ganon. Can we take a second to maybe decipher what BBEG means? My interpretation is big, bad, evil guy.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Mine was big, bad, example Ganon.
I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take mine. I think is maybe the way that W is leaning here. Okay, so the next Zelda game yet to be announced. So I think that this is a question of, is the next Zelda game that is going to be announced a 3D Zelda?
I don't think it matters. Does it matter?
I think, well, because that leads it to the next question too, because like, I guess to me, if the next game is a 3D Zelda game, I think the chances of it being someone other than Ganon go down drastically. But I think that if the next Zelda game, for example, is like an Echoes of Wisdom, or like, you know what I mean? And let's just rule remakes out of here too, by the way. But I think if it's like an Echoes of Wisdom-esque kind of game, I think the percentage goes up. So I do think it actually makes a difference.
I don't know if it makes a difference in my mind. I feel like we've had a lot of Ganon in the Switch Zeldas. So for me, I feel like it's a high percentage either way, if it's 2D, 3D, whatever, what have you, that it'll be someone other than Ganon. Because I feel like Nintendo knows that they've already had this moment of like reinventing the wheel when it comes to Zelda, 8 years ago, and maybe they need to do that again. Maybe we're there at that point because we're done with the Switch Zeldas. So having a new villain in there would help with that. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with like a 76%.
Um, I guess I don't disagree like at all actually with what you're saying. I just wonder if like these 3D Zelda games are such a big investment, in time and money. Like do you want to do a game like that without kind of your three main guys? And I guess you could say like Breath of the Wild. I mean, yes, it had Ganon, but like did it really have Ganon? It had Calamity Ganon, who was just kind of like a guardian. So like, um, I do think it depends on if it's a 3D game or a non 3D game. I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna go like 45%. I think because I think that's kind of like a meeting in the middle of if it's a non 3D game or if it's a 3D game. If it's a like a top down Zelda game, I like fully expect those games to almost like never have Ganon in them. You know what I mean? Whereas I think it would have to be, I don't know. I think it would have to be like something really spectacular in terms of a villain and in terms of a story to like have it in a 3D Zelda game. Because like I could totally see something like Zant and then Ganondorf, or like Helmrock King and then Ganondorf, but just like straight up Zant is your guy in that game. I don't know. I'm gonna go 45%.
Yeah, but then you have games like Majora's Mask, which was extremely successful without Ganon
Yeah,
or Ganondorf. You have, I don't know, I personally feel like it's different. You have Skyward Sword with your Demise, who
I
kind of
would say
sets
that's
up the
different.
Ganondorf. So there are 3D games that don't have your typical Ganondorf. So I mean,
Yeah,
and I just think that maybe we are there. Don't get me wrong, I love Ganondorf. I love seeing every new iteration of him. I was so excited when we got to see him in Tears versus like Ganon.
yeah.
Um, but I feel like it's always good to kind of like give us a cushion in between those so that it's more exciting when it happens again.
I agree. Like I 100% agree with you. I wonder, like I said, if like the time investment in between these games is
Hmm.
something that like that's enough time where you're just like I'm ready to see Ganon again.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think it really depends on like what kind of game is announced, though. I will say.
Hmm.
Okay. Also from Josh W. Nintendo will port at least one DS or 3DS game in the next 12 months to the Switch 2. So, doesn't. Oh, it's a Zelda game. So, sorry, I was going to say, like, he didn't specify, but he did. Will port at least one DS or 3DS Zelda game in the next 12 months to the Switch 2. Are we talking also, like, if Nintendo were to add, like, DS Online kind of thing? Does that count?
Um, I don't think that's what is established in this question or
Okay.
this like statement, but we do have a statement like that later.
Okay.
So we could talk about that at that point. But
So just a straight
yeah,
up
I
port
think this
then.
is, yeah, a port of one of which, like that would be what our Skyward or not Skyward Sword, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, A Link Between Worlds,
And Triforce Heroes. And
and
let's not
Triforce
forget,
Heroes.
freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land and
Oh
ripened
yes.
Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love.
Okay. What do you think?
I'm going low on this, Al. I'm going low.
Hmm.
I am going to go 10% maybe.
Ooh.
Um, well, like I think in the pecking order of remakes, like the Oracles are probably at the top.
Hmm.
I don't even think it needs a remake, but I wouldn't be surprised if Minish Cap was ahead of these guys as well.
Well, and then this isn't specifically a remake, but a port, like getting
Or
just
yeah, a
taking the
port.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I could totally see A Link Between Worlds getting ported to Switch 2 at some point in time. I don't know about the next 12 months. I could also see with the mouse controls them possibly doing some kind of remake slash port of the DS Zeldas.
Yeah.
I'm also low the more that I think about it, but I'm gonna be an optimistic low and say 32%.
Uh, I mean, the next 12 months is rich. The only thing I do think is that, I mean, you probably do want something Zelda in the next 12 months, but I guess to offset
Mhm.
that, like, you have Age of Imprisonment coming
Right.
out.
Right.
I think 10% is generous, if I'm being honest.
Hmm.
I just, what do you do, like, re-release, like, I think you'd have to just, like, straight up remake Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, which I'm, like, totally for. And I think that if you do that, you really have to do like the Metroid Prime route where like you have your original controls that you can use and maybe you can integrate mouse controls there. You have to have like the new standard controls that you can just move around on, whatever.
Hmm.
um and you have to like do something about the graphics too, of course. But I don't know if that's like I could see for both of these. Actually, I just see like eventually when DS or 3DS online comes to NSO, like that's just how you do it.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I feel like the one that makes the most sense to be ported at all to the Switch 2 would probably be A Link Between Worlds. And again, I
Yeah.
don't see that happening in the next 12 months, but I think that makes the most sense. So again, I'm going to stick with my 30 something because it's at least one, not all, you know?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, no Triforce Heroes ports in our future. We could play. Maybe online would work this time.
I think if we are not getting FSA anytime soon, then we shouldn't be getting Triforce Heroes.
I would dig my
FSA
own,
before Triforce Heroes.
dude. If they announced like the remake of Triforce Heroes before Four Swords, I would just dig my own grave and just go into the grave. I would be
Go
so
into it. I
upset.
just go into it.
Okay,
Oh my god.
let's move on. Oh, this is a question for you, Al. Delta Bolster. Corey will never do anything to deserve a go to hell Corey again. You know what's really
Is
funny?
this? Oh, go for it.
When I re-uploaded last week's episode that I
Oh
messed up,
yes.
I was like, everybody just blame Corey,
Um,
and a bunch of people were like, "Yeah, go to hell, Corey." I was like, this
so
audience gets it.
stupid.
I love them. I love everybody that listens to this show.
Oh my god. Let's see. I feel like you say go to hell Corey too much and he doesn't deserve it. I feel like for me, I have to say it when he deserves it. And like the only time that I may like there may have been two or three times where I'm like, yeah, he deserves it. And that the most specific one I remember is like when I talk about the Sheikah stuff and tears and he's like, "No, it's fine." And I'm like, "Go to hell, Corey." Like, "No, it's not." But for me, like Corey will do something in the future, I'm sure, that deserves to go to hell, Corey, for me personally. But
Oh,
like it doesn't happen that often.
this is a 0%. 0%.
Oh, I forgot the percent. Uh I'm gonna say 12. 12%. From me.
Okay. Yeah, go to hell, Corey.
You do it every episode. For me it's different.
Is it every episode?
Pretty much.
Okay. Go to hell, Corey. Um, all right. Let's move on. Delta has a few here. The Zelda movie will be the highest grossing movie of its opening weekend.
Ooh.
I'm high on this. I'm gonna say
I'm
like
high too.
98%.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna 95. And I feel like that's why they moved. We talked about this. This is
Yeah.
why they moved their release window because they were like something else is coming out on that weekend and we don't want to compete with it.
Yeah.
So for its specific weekend, yes, I agree. I'm gonna say 95%.
I mean, like honestly, unless there's like some kind of like Barbenheimer situation going on, like I just don't. I think a lot of people are going to be curious about the movie.
Hmm.
Even if you like get trailers and like it doesn't look that good, or it like totally gets bombs when in reviews and stuff like that, I think that people are still going to go check it out. Like I mean I'll be there opening night for sure, right? Like
I feel like if there were so many people who went back and watched the Minecraft movie over and over again because it was like a meme at that point, like if that can happen, then the Zelda movie will do great.
yeah, so I expect it to be to have at least a high opening weekend. I think the quality of the movie is really going to determine what the second and the third weekend look
Hmm.
like and the legs of this movie. But I don't know. I mean, like, there's no reason to be pessimistic at this point. So, and I think, like, here, you're just like, well, yeah, there's lots of fans that have been waiting, 40 years for a Zelda movie. So I think it's going to do quite well.
You
'Cause,
know
yeah.
what I heard the other day? Because crazy things happen every day. So K-pop Demon Hunters is like the number one
Ugh.
animated Netflix movie. They're giving it a theatrical release with a sing-along edition. They're putting it in theaters because it did so well on Netflix, and it's like the
That doesn't
highest
surprise
like
me. Yeah.
ranking movie there is on Netflix at the moment, or an animated movie. And so yeah, I feel like when you have such a like hearty fan base like the Zelda series does, you're selling what? How many did we say? 20 million for Tears already?
Something like
Easily
that.
going to
Yeah.
be a good opening weekend for that movie.
Yeah. I think it's going to do like really well.
Hmm.
Here's my Zelda percentages. Just an off the cuff one here, Al. The Zelda movie makes more money than the Super Mario Bros. Movie after its box office run is done. And so, for context, I think Super Mario is at like one something billion. Like let's just call it 1 billion. How about?
Okay.
What do you think? Zelda makes more
Uh,
money.
I don't know. I feel like Mario has a lot is like a much more well-known slash bigger IP.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Although I feel like I don't know. I feel
There's
like that's
something
definitely
about the live action Zelda movie
yeah, the
though.
live action and also versus like if you have kids, you're probably taking your kids to see Mario, whether you're a fan of Mario or not. So that probably gives it a boost. And then like live action, that's gonna be more so like adults going. I don't know. I that's hard. I don't know. I'm gonna
Here's my
say
percentage. I'm gonna say 40%. So it's got a fighting
I was
chance.
okay. I was gonna stick around there too because I just don't know.
I think you're right. Like I think like I mean Mario is basically like Mickey Mouse. Like he's like Disney at this point
Hmm.
where and like it was a kids movie that was for and it was for adults too. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say it was a bad movie. I think it did have that kind of universal appeal, but I feel like there is just something so I don't know, like intangible, but like the live action Zelda movie that I think is going to draw a lot of people in. Even if you're not like a big Zelda fan, I think there's just something to be said about like this is the first live action Nintendo movie since my favorite Mario Bros 1993. So I think that there's kind of some value in that. We just had Allison drop out and things look absolutely wild over
Yeah,
on the
sorry. I
stream.
think everything just kind of froze and went crazy.
That
So I
was
didn't really get to
incredible.
hear
Someone
it.
needs to clip that actually, because that was a wild scene that we just saw. Um,
Well, you just stopped talking all of a sudden. And I was like, uh-oh, let me just hop out really quick and hop back in. Sorry about that.
people pray for that often, actually. So you've
Speaking
been
of
granted a
having to edit
gift.
our podcast stuff.
Oh no, I leave this. I mean, whatever. It's stuff happens, right? Stuff
Well, now
happens.
Cal's gonna have his hands on it. He's like, I'm getting rid of this.
Oh, he doesn't need to get rid of this. This is okay. This is what the people crave. All
Spills
of
in the bloopers.
our technical snafus midstream. Like I was pregnant pauses, talking over each other, cats and dogs interrupting. This is what this show is all about, baby. Let's
Yep.
go. Okay, so yeah, I said 40%. I think you're
I'm
about
gonna
the
stick
same.
to 40 because I'm like, I feel like it could almost go either way, but I feel like Mario's just a little bit bigger. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
would hope so, but we'll see.
I think it has a fighting chance. I will say that. I think that the reviews are definitely going to impact that as well. So
Yes,
yeah.
I agree.
Okay, let's go to the next one here. This is from Delta. The Triforce becomes important and wielded by Link, Zelda, etc. again in a future game. Um, yeah, I mean, like this is a high. I'm gonna say like 95%. I don't know.
Yeah, and the statement is in a future game,
Hmm.
not the next game, not the game after that, in a future game. So I'm gonna say like 99%.
Yeah. Um, I guess like this implies. I guess that's not an implication. I mean, it's the truth that like the Triforce is not really emphasized in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. But I mean, at the same time, like we just had Echoes of Wisdom come out, and the Triforce was a pretty big deal in that game. So like,
Yeah, except it wasn't called the Triforce. What was it called?
Oh, it
Something.
was called the Prime Energy or something like that.
I don't know, something dumb where it was the
Yeah,
same with the Secret Stones. Where I'm like, why are you calling it something so silly like that? You know,
the
the
pr-
special stones.
the Prime Energy.
Yeah, the Prime Energy.
It splits into three if someone touches the Prime Energy that has an unprime heart. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's basically like a given.
Yes,
Okay,
I.
let's move on. Delta is back, and he says a non-remake, non-open world 3D Zelda game will be made again one day. Would you like to go
Mm,
first, Al?
yeah, I mean, I'm actually gonna give this a little bit lower now that I'm thinking about it because I feel like Echoes was very successful. And I feel like we heard in their interviews, the developers interviews, where they were just like, oh, there's actually an audience for this, or there's a call for this still.
Yeah.
um and so we'll keep doing it basically, and I feel like they're going to continue in that like open world formula a little bit. So I'm going to say like 33% that it's going to be
Oh,
non-open world. I just feel like we're going to continue on how we saw Echoes. So this is low for me.
I'm gonna say 75%. Yeah, I think, and like, so there's no timeline on this. I think what is old becomes new again, almost always. Like, I think that, maybe in 10 years from now, maybe in 20 years from now, like when we've had like four or five or six of these open world games, they're absolutely ginormous. There's going to be an audience of people that are just like, I just want like an Ocarina of Time style Zelda game. It's not like
Hmm.
overwhelmingly big. There's certainly stuff to do like outside of your main quest, but like, it's not that format, and it's more regimented, and there's traditional like the dungeons, like I think that I think there's already an audience for that actually. So like, um I think that they're gonna kind of sit in the same category as Echoes a little bit. Like they'll kind of be like the games that maybe are in between, like the big 3D games. And there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that. And they probably have different expectations going in, like because I mean, like again, before the open world games, like your average Zelda game was selling 5 to 7 million copies 3D, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I think if you make a 3D Zelda game and it does that, that's great. So I do think that these are going to come back. It might not be right away, but I would even say like I could totally see Ocarina of Time getting a remake at some point in the Switch 2's life cycle. I just because eventually they're going to run out of games to remake, and like that seems like a super easy one. So I think yeah,
Hmm.
that's probably going to happen.
I just realized that I interpreted the question wrong. For some reason, I had 2D in my mind, not 3D. So I was
Hmm.
thinking specifically Echoes. Um, but then to go back to a non-remake, non-open world 3D Zelda game will be made again one day. I'm also going to keep this low because I feel like they did such a good job, and then with the Switch Zeldas, but then you have, I'm going to again use Echoes. Like you have Echoes where it was somewhat like linear but still open. You still could go explore things, but you couldn't do specific stuff in those regions until yada yada, or you had a specific echo to get there. I feel like
Yeah.
that's like kind of a happy medium between open and linear. And so I want to say that we're still like going to be moving in that direction. So I'm still going to say like a low 30% that we would see something not like that in the future. I feel like that's just the way we're going.
Okay. Um. I don't think so, but we'll see. I guess.
Hmm.
Let's come back to Delta in just a minute here. Let's go to some of these other ones. And we'll start off. How about this one, Al? You up to date on this kind of happening? Ninja Noah says Silk Song gets delayed again.
I only know about the memes, and I feel like this is low. I feel like they, based on seeing it in a direct recently, I don't know, several months ago, and people being super excited about it, I feel like you don't talk about that game, a game that you've delayed several times, if you're like not ready. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it's really low. I'm gonna say like 10% that it gets delayed again.
Well, Here's the thing about a game getting delayed. It has to have a release date in order for it to get delayed. Silksong has never been delayed. It's just, never been given a release date.
Taking
And
forever.
yeah, it is. It's taken. I mean, Hollow Knight came out 2017 on PC, 2018 on the Switch, and I think they announced the sequel shortly thereafter, like maybe a year thereafter. So we're at about like 6 years. So it is. It's been a while, but like again, it's a small team that is working on this game, kind of like
Hmm.
independently. And Hollow Knight was a massive Metroidvania. That game was like, in terms of like just straight up map size, it might be one of the biggest Metroidvanias ever made. Like it was crazy. And so if Silksong is going for the bigger and better philosophy for a sequel, I can understand why it's taking so long. I think like we're gonna get there when we get there. Will it get delayed again? I don't know. Like, it doesn't have a release date, so like, how can it get delayed if it doesn't have a release date? I think it says it's supposed to come out in 2025 at this point. Um, I will say like, I don't know, 53% it gets delayed again, quote unquote delayed. Like, I could see this falling into 2026, and I think it'll be fine if it does. No big deal.
Hmm.
It'll come out when it comes out, and it'll probably be great. This I do think is one of the times where like the old Shigeru Miyamoto quote applies. So, yeah.
Fair
Oh,
enough. Fair enough.
50 some percent. All right, let's go to Jules. She is asking us a doozy here, Al. There will be no A-list actors in the Zelda movie. Hold on. We got to define an A-list actor. What's the difference between like an A-list and a B-list actor? Are B-list actors? B-list is like the ones that like they're like the supporting character and like who they are. Maybe they've even won like an Academy Award for like supporting roles, but they don't like headline the movies. Is that fair?
I mean, no, because even if somebody is like in a supporting role all the time, at least you know who they are. I feel like there's a difference between like the quality of those A-list actors slash movies that they're in versus like the B-list stuff that you see like straight to TV or straight to streaming or straight to
I mean,
we'll
I
use
feel
call
like
it
that's
straight
like
to
your
movies, straight to
C-list
DVD.
actor or like a D.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean? Like,
I'm thinking like I'm thinking like Lifetime movies is like a B-list movie, stuff like that. So
here's
I don't
my
know.
thought. I feel like an A-list actor is like the people that are like top billed on a movie. There's probably like 100 A-list actors in the world. Like
Hmm.
you're like your big like your Tom Cruise, your Brad Pitt, your Jennifer Lawrence, your I don't know, the Rock. Is probably an A-list
Hmm.
actor. A B-list actor, I would say, is someone that like like they show up in movies, but they're never necessarily like the top build cast member.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to think of like a couple examples here. Um, I don't know, maybe like uh, oh God, I cannot think of like someone that would fit the bill here.
That's
Um,
the point, though. I feel like
yeah,
that's the point is you can't think of who would fit the bill, and but you know their face because they're in a lot of those types of movies or
exactly.
whatever.
Like you know them when you
Yeah.
see them, and they're great in their roles.
Hmm.
But they're not. Yeah, they're not that like they're not like the people that would like fly. Like in Lord of the Rings, for example. Like I think like Sean Astin is a great B-list actor, right? Like he's
Hmm.
not the headliner, but he comes in and he nails his role in Stranger Things. He nails his role in Lord of the Rings. He just nails his role in what he's in.
I feel like I maybe don't quite agree with you because I would put Sean as an A-list.
I
I
guess
mean, he's
my
been
point
A-list since
is
he was a
like,
child.
well, I mean, I guess he was in the Goonies, but like my point is like is there a movie or a show that like Sean Astin is the undisputed main character
The Goonies.
in the last 30 years?
And I would say that Sam is a main character
In what? Lord of the
in
Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
No, the main character of Lord of the Rings are Frodo, Aragorn, maybe Gandalf. I feel like.
I feel like anybody from the Fellowship is a main character, and then like the people that they see along the way, like your Elrond, your Theoden, those are the side characters.
Do you get the point I'm trying to get at here though? Like, don't
I
take it
think
so literally. Just like, do you see what I'm saying?
no, okay.
Like
You're
Sean
talking
Astin
to
is not
somebody
an
who
A-list
takes things
actor.
so
I
literally.
love him, but
So,
like,
anyways, I do take things very literally, and I don't know if there's really a a reason to define what we're talking about here, because obviously we know what we're talking about when we're thinking A-list actors and you know, your Brad Pitts or whatever. I feel like it's a very low percentage that there will be no I think there'll be at least one or two, just so that there's a person with a face that people will be like, oh, I know that person, I know that actor, I want to go see this movie, because I think you still have to have some of that grab for the people that aren't the Zelda fans, you know.
mhm.
So I'm gonna say like 5% that there's no A list.
I'll go higher, but I'm low. I'm gonna say 30. I'm gonna say 25%, and I do think there's a big difference between like an A-list and a B-list actor, which is like why I want to define it. Like, I don't think that I don't think that having like Sean Astin voice someone versus having like Keanu Reeves voice someone is going to be like they're not on the same level, right? Like, as much as I love Sean Astin, so that's why I'm kind of
I guess it
making the
depends on you as
differentiator.
a person.
No, I don't think it does. I think you can objectively say like these people have headlined movies, they've headlined shows, like they're the main star, they're paid the most salary of everyone in production. I think like you can define A list objectively.
I mean, maybe it depends on the person. Maybe I just don't agree with you about Sean Astin. Like, maybe that's a bad example. I don't know.
What movies has Sean Astin been in the last 25 years where he's the main character? He's paid the most money. Like,
Are we talking about like completely just monetary? Because I
like
feel like I don't know, that could be different. But like,
no, yeah, not even much
when
here.
you
Like,
look at
what
Lord of the
movies is
Rings,
he the
Sean
main
Astin is
character
like one
in?
of the main faces, you
No,
know?
he's
Like,
one of them. He's not where he's the guy.
I don't I don't know if that's like, I just feel like movies are made of comprised of different people, and it's not just a one person.
John
Like, you think
Wick.
of the whole
Who is the
ensemble.
guy?
Huh?
John Wick. Who's the guy?
Keanu Reeves, but there's so many people in there.
But Keanu is like the star of that. You know what I
And
mean?
obviously he has way more screen time, but like
Right.
Frodo doesn't have the most screen time in those movies. And
I
everywhere
wouldn't say
Frodo is
Elijah Wood
Sam
is
so like
an
you see
A-list
them
actor
both
either, to be
together.
honest.
I think this is a dumb argument.
We're gonna take this to Middle Earth, the podcast. Well, like, I don't know how else to explain. Like, there's definitely levels to actors and actresses, right? Like, just because you're right, you can be in an ensemble cast, but then like after that, like how many movies is Elijah Wood making where like he is the main guy? Now Viggo Mortensen, that's an A-list actor because you can look at his catalog and be like, he's in The History of Violence, he's in Hidalgo, he's in Eastern Promises, he's in like all of these movies where like he is the undisputed main guy. Like, he is an A-list actor, I think. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. This is for Middle Earth, the podcast.
I know. I understand. I feel like you're using these examples because it's stuff that I've seen and I get it. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I just think of it differently than you do, or how you're saying like it could be objectively proven or whatever. I just think of it differently. I feel like if somebody's in a lot of movies, they're an A-list actor, even if they're not the main person.
Oh, and that, my definition for that would be like they're a B-list actor. Like, they're the good. It's like wrestling. Like, you have your main eventers and you have the guys on the undercard, right? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on.
Okay.
What was your percent? Your percentage was like 5%, right?
Yeah, because I don't think it's possible to like throw a movie out there in today's age without an A-list actor.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
I mean,
probably
I
right.
shouldn't say not possible. I think it's really hard. You could do it, but it's difficult.
Um, you're right. Like, like Sonic is a good example. Like, there are no A-list actors in that movie except for Jim Carrey. And then like in the sequels, you add in like more A-list actors to voice everybody like that.
You don't think
Yeah.
James, what's his face, is an A-list? Is not an A-list?
You don't even know his name. James
Well, it starts with
Marsden.
an M.
He is not
I
an
don't know
A-list
anybody's
actor.
name. This is a bad. I'm a bad example. I don't know anybody's name. What are you talking about? We like established this on the show before. But anyways, he's in like a bunch of stuff.
He is not. Yeah, let's move on. Charles
Look up
Xavier.
IMDb. He's got like 50 things.
Charles Xavier asks, Ocarina of Time will be dethroned as the greatest quote-unquote Zelda game by some Zelda entry within the next 15 years. I think. I'm gonna go 90%. I think there's people out there that are already like, of not this generation being like Breath of the Wild is that game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, oh God, this is another too literal question for me. I'm so sorry for being so literal, but like, it since it's been the greatest Zelda game since 1998, I feel like it'd be hard to dethrone it, even if we got Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
The current generation is like, yeah, Breath of the Wild is the best, but like the people who've been around forever know that Ocarina of Time is the best. So, and again, this is also just subjective to the people who like,
Yes.
yeah. So, I mean, we have people in our team who totally disagree with us about Ocarina of Time, but the majority of them agree with us. So,
Yeah.
in the next 15 years, I think it's possible. I'm going to go, 55%. I feel like it could go either way, in my opinion.
I kind of feel like the more time that passes and like the more like that people, like the newer generation of Zelda players grow up on the series, like for a lot of those players, I think that like Breath of the Wild is going to be their Ocarina of Time. And like maybe my definition is like on Metacritic, for example, maybe Breath of the Wild doesn't pass Ocarina of Time. I actually don't even know. Maybe it already has. But like I think that I think that with like enough time, the new generation is going to be like, this game is the one. Because like I almost think like the numbers like make it inevitable. Like when you have like so many people playing it, I don't know. Something tells me in a 10 years we're just like there's going to be just people saying like the greatest Zelda is Breath of the Wild. Now, could a new game come out and dethrone both of them? It'd have to be a heck of a game.
It would have to be. I mean, what are those like words those like trigger words you always use for Ocarina of Time? Timeless.
Oh, timeless.
Magnificent.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Eternal. I think I used.
It would have to be It would have to be all of those,
Yeah.
plus some.
I'm actually like curious here. I'm gonna look up the Metacritic score of Breath of the Wild while we're doing this. Stall for me for a sec here, Al.
Okay, I was looking up the definition of the difference between A-list and B-list actors.
Oh my god. Just because you recognize their face doesn't make them an A-list actor.
Which I feel like that's fair. I wanted examples. So like A-list, high recognition, box office power, lead roles, high visibility.
Yes.
B-list, recognizable but not always a household name.
Yes.
Not guaranteed box office success. Variety of roles, less media visibility.
Yes.
And then it goes into like C stuff. The C and D lists are sometimes used to describe actors with even less fame or who are primarily known for one role or a limited body of work. Maybe the C list and D list are what I'm thinking, like Lifetime
I think
movies.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like your Bill Goldberg making Universal Soldier 3 that just goes right to DVD, and it's in like the bin where it's like that movie, but also there's like 3 other movies on the DVD,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Taking me back. Okay, so in my mind, I'm just like, they're all A-list because you like recognize them even if they're like, but this is like having a difference where they're saying like, sure, you recognize them, but like maybe sometimes it says they even like get main roles in like smaller movies because they don't bring in that much box office.
Yeah.
In my mind though, I'm just like, if they're getting main roles or if you see them all the time and you recognize them, they're an A-list. So I get now the definition between the two.
I will say too, like, if you're a B-list actor, I think that you can elevate yourself to be a A-list actor. Chris Pratt is a good example of that.
Or like Pedro, I would say is a good example.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Because I think like Pedro, he's an A-list actor now.
Yeah, he is.
I wouldn't have said that I might have not even said that 5 years ago actually.
It's so funny. Yeah, he like has skyrocketed since 2019.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of funny because there's actually like this weird movement of hate on Pedro right now because he's been in 3 movies so far this year and a TV show. And then somebody pointed out, they're like, in this one year, Ben Stiller was in 7 movies, and this one year, like, Owen Wilson was in this 8 movies in this year, and it's just like it happens because people they film at different times. Some they get released all at the same time. They have to do a lot of. They're contracted to do all this marketing, so you see their face all the time, and that's what's happening to Pedro right now. And I was like, I knew it was coming. I was like, people are gonna be getting sick of him. I just knew it was coming. So I just thought it was kind of funny that this is the age where he's become an A-list actor and now everybody hates him. Well, not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a movement.
Heavy is the crown now.
I know.
Heavy is the crown.
And listen, I don't like idolize, actors or actresses or anything like that until they do something that obviously like deserves to not. They shouldn't be getting recognition. But like, I'm like, he hasn't done anything wrong.
No.
Except
Pedro Pascal is the man. Like, he's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I actually forget what I was even. Oh, I was looking at Metacritic. So Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's at 97, and Ocarina of Time is at just like a staggering 99. So I feel like if you're a new game coming out, like those are tough scores to beat. But I think culturally, Breath of the Wild can do it.
Yes. My question, like when it comes to Metacritic and other like people that put up their scores, like how do we know they're super like reliable? Why do we always go to Metacritic?
Well, basically because it's an aggregate of like multiple, like 100 different reviews, kind of thing.
Okay. I feel like that's fair because
it's like Rotten Tomatoes, basically.
Gotcha. Well, sometimes Rotten Tomatoes, you don't know if it's like super accurate because people go and review bomb in Rotten Tomatoes.
They do. There's like the audience Rotten Tomatoes, and there's like the critics one. So like the critics one is typically a little bit more reliable. Although, I mean, to your point, like not all the time either, because you can have reviewers with agendas as well. So
right. So it always makes me worry when people like I consider like the IGN rating of Tales of the Shire. I don't think that the people that were rating that game were the right audience for that game. So I feel like their rating isn't very reliable to me. So that's what I think when I'm like, ooh, like, do we want to depend on like ratings from these people?
I read a few reviews for that game, and I don't know. We'll save that for Middle Earth the podcast as well. Okay, what about this one, Al?
Yeah,
this is for you. Metroid Prime 4 will be the highest selling Metroid game to date.
Okay, yeah. Not really knowing about the sales of Metroid or anything like that, I would say 89%.
The bar is low, to be honest. Like
okay.
the bar is Metroid Dread at about 3.25 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is like a 98% chance. It basically has to be the biggest selling Metroid game ever. And I think it will. Like, it looks incredible from what we've seen. And if it does indeed release in November, that's a real prime, no pun intended. That's a good position to be in for your holiday game going into Christmas. So
yeah. There you go.
All right, Charles has one last one. Some sort of Zelda attraction will be added to Super Nintendo World. This has got to be like
that's
90%.
A high, 90%, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the only way that it doesn't happen is if, like, just logistically, like, they just run out of room or, like, there's not... I don't know. I actually don't know. Like, this definitely is going to happen.
I do think about that because having gone to both the different Universals, it is weird to, like, see how much space is being taken up by these places and how much space that they don't have. And then also being able to see, like, I think they were making the Fast and Furious one while I was there in California, and so you saw like all the construction. It was really weird, and it was like right there, and it only had a limited amount of space. The Super Nintendo World in California is tiny, but I think the one that they just opened up in Orlando is a bit bigger. So it does depend on space, and I do think about that, but I feel like they can acquire the space, or it'll probably go into like the park in Japan or something, or Orlando might open up a little bit. I don't think it's going to California though. I don't know if they have the space.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Did we give a percentage on that?
I think we're both around like 90. Yeah.
Yeah. 90. Okay.
I said 90, you're 95. To be honest, like I'm damn near 100 on this, like actually. So maybe I'll just go up to like 97.
Okay.
Cheritu is obviously a Sith as well because he's dealing in some absolutes here, Al. We will never see a remake of the Oracle games.
That's oh, do I just like 1%? Because you won't let me do zero.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5%. Like, given, you know, given enough time, it will happen. Maybe it doesn't happen this year. Maybe it doesn't happen in 5 years. Maybe it doesn't happen in 10 years. But, like, on a long enough timeline, this will happen.
Hmm.
There is almost no chance it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is very low for me because yeah, never say never.
Yeah. Okay, Tiberius Rex. The next main 3D Zelda will use a mouse Joy-Con feature. I will say, like, again, I'm going to go high. I'm going to say, like, 90%. I can't think of a way where, even if it's, like, a 3D Zelda game, like, they have, like, a shrine or, like, a shrine equivalent, I just, like, can't see them not putting that in there some way. To use even, like, sparingly, you know?
Hmm. I I could see like a mini game. I can't see
Yeah.
like any kind of main function. I still have not even tried the mouse feature. Have you tried the mouse feature?
No, not really, to be honest. Well, there's just, like, no game that, like, I'll probably try it with Metroid Prime 4.
I literally haven't even thought about it until like we get a question about it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
What, you didn't
Um,
purchase Welcome Tour?
no, why would I purchase that? Nintendo? Like,
Hold on, Al, hold on. I saw the first reviews for Chillin' by the Fire.
oh, did you? How? What was it?
It was a Nintendo Life review. I don't know that it was too kind. I'm gonna try and pull it up here. Um,
No life. Again, like, do we?
yeah.
How? Who do we believe? Whose rating system do we believe?
You know what? I read the review, and so it's got a 5 out of 10, and I will say I feel like it looked like a 5 out of 10 game to me when I saw that
You
trailer.
know
So
what? I
I'm
feel
I'm
like
okay with that.
based on how it looked, being 5 out of 10 is like I feel like that's pretty solid actually.
Dude, if you want to learn how to build fires, like, this is probably the game for you, and it supports mouse controls too. So I'm like, I don't know. There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
maybe that's how we get them to play the mouse
I
controls.
totally derailed us. What were we talking about? Talking
We
about?
need a percentage about the mouse feature for next 3D Zelda game. I'm gonna say 60% because I feel like it could be a mini game, but I don't think it's gonna be a main feature.
Okay, yeah. Even if it's a mini game, I think that counts. So I'm gonna go high. I'm gonna go 90.
Okay.
I don't think it'd be a main feature though. You're
Hmm.
totally right. I feel like you kind of, like, got to rein in those gimmicks a little bit, and that's why, like, I have such a tough time with the DS games.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's skip over this next one. We'll come back to that. This is from Bat Rogue. The Nintendo DS/3DS will become available on NSO within the next year. I'm gonna give that a thumbs down, and I'm going to
Hmm.
say 12%. We
I think
just
just
got
because
GameCube. I
yeah,
don't think
just
so.
because of the timing. It's coming, but like if you just said it's coming soon, in the next couple years, sure, I
Yeah,
would give that a really high percent. But
yeah.
in the next year, I'm gonna say yeah, low, 8% on that.
If this was quite like the question was, does it come during the Switch 2's lifespan?
Yes,
I think
I'll
I'd
give that a high.
probably, but I wouldn't be like 100% sure. Like, that is something I feel like you could almost even save for, like, the Switch 3. You know,
Switch 3, oh god.
at least 3DS. I think you could. DS, I think might be on. I think DS will be on the Switch too. 3DS, maybe. We'll see.
Hmm.
Okay, so Batrogue, same question for the Wii. In the next few, so let's just amend this question a little bit. I don't think Batrogue would mind. During the Switch 2's life cycle, the Wii classics will be on NSO.
Um,
I was prepared to go high here, Al, but I don't know. On one hand, like, the mouse function would certainly be, like, just tailor made for the Wii games.
why wouldn't the motion controls the Joy-Con be? I feel like that makes
That
more
too,
sense.
yeah, that too. I
Yeah.
just the mouse, like, that just seems like peanut butter and jelly to me, you know.
My question is like, why are you more accepting of the Wii versus the 3DS?
I guess just because I, like, just timeline wise, Nintendo's
Did
kind
the
of been
3DS
going in
come after the
chronological
Wii?
order.
I see. I feel like DS and 3DS would be like at the same time though. That's what makes sense to my brain.
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, the only thing different about the DS and the 3DS is that the games were in 3D, which you're not going to accomplish on Virtual Console.
And I don't think a
So,
single soul would care about that.
yeah. So, but like, what else is the difference? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I could see them being kind of lumped together and being like the DS family or whatever of games.
Yes. I don't disagree. I don't know. Something tells me that they'd be separate and like that they'd make a bigger deal out of some of the 3DS games. Just because like they're like a lot of them are fresh and like newer. Maybe that doesn't matter actually, but I don't know. If you were asking me, I think the Wii has a better chance than the 3DS to come on the Switch too.
And
Yeah.
then you have to wonder about like, are they going to give us the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, or are they going to give us the Wii version, or are they going to give us both? You know, like,
Right.
is that going to be considered
I bet you it's probably both. Like I think because like even you look at Link to the Past, like you have that on the Game Boy Advance and you have it on
Oh, fair.
SNES.
Yeah. Yeah, fair, fair, fair.
I feel like the Wii is like so similar to GameCube that doesn't seem like a big stretch to me.
I could see also like giving the functionality to the Joy-Cons for a lot of like the
Yeah.
Wiimote controls.
Yeah.
Um, so for the DS and 3DS, I'd lump them together, and if we were using the Switch 2 Lifetime, I would be really high on both of these, I think. I think I would be like equally like, I don't know, 77%. Because I
Right.
think both of them will come. If we have the Switch 2 for another 8 years, say in 3 years we get one, and then another 3 or 4 years we get the other, then that's both going to be in the lifetime of the console. So I'm going to say, yeah, 77%.
And what about the Wii?
The Wii?
Yeah. What about the Wii?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm
Sorry,
lumping it
sorry,
all
sorry.
together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm high on the Wii. I think I'll go similar to you. I'll go 80%. It'll show up during like the lifespan. I don't know something about the DS and 3DS. Like you're not wrong. Like they're basically the same thing. And I could see them being lumped together, but something just tells me that the DS is coming first, and I don't know why. So I would say like 100%, not 100%. I would say 99% for the DS, and I would say like 55 for 3DS. I still think it'll probably happen. I'm just less like bullish on it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair.
All right, let's go to Mac. The Switch 2 will match Switch 1 and have exactly two brand new 3D Zeldas and one brand new top-down Zeldas, not counting remakes, remasters, but just new games that launch. So we had to amend this question actually because our buddy Mac actually said one brand new Zelda game. I believe is what he said, and I was like, come on, nobody thinks of Breath of the Wild as a Wii U game. Like, come on.
Oh, okay.
I feel pretty good about this. I think I'm gonna go 75%.
I feel not great about this because aside we got a lot on the Switch when it comes to Zelda, but this is not counting remakes and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That wait between Breath of the Wild and Tears was really tough, and there was COVID in the mixture, so I feel like if we didn't have COVID, I wonder if we might have gotten another top down, like another new project in there. Also, are we considering like Hyrule Warriors? Does that count as a brand
I
new?
don't think so. Not
Okay.
my interpretation of this question, anyways, because like that's by
Okay.
another studio.
I would say this is at least true. If not, Switch 2 will do better. I hope it'll do better, if that makes sense. So I think it'll at least remain true. So let's say 70%.
Okay. Yeah.
I just hope it does better.
I something tells me. I think like two open world Zelda games and like one top down. I think is very achievable. I think that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's very achievable. Okay, we're running a little bit long here, Al, but let's just clean up a few of these last ones from Delta Bolster, and then we'll bring it on home. A new Hyrule Warriors game, more similar to the first, where they pick and choose characters from different games and timelines for their roster and story is made.
Um,
Um.
I'm gonna go low on this actually.
Okay. What's your
I'm gonna
percent?
say I'm gonna say 15 because I feel like the Hyrule Warriors that we have that already does this is substantial enough. They've released it on like three different consoles. They've done like Hyrule Warriors Deluxe, Hyrule Warriors Deluxe Deluxe, and I think that that is acceptable. I can't see a world where we're doing it again.
Right.
Especially when like so many of those characters have already been chosen for Hyrule Warriors. Like, what characters are even left? You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna again just go back to on a long enough timeline. I think this will happen. So I'm gonna say like 60%, and I think like I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. Actually, like, is there an appetite or an audience for this? Maybe over a long enough time because I don't know. I think they've really cracked the formula with Hyrule Warriors and like tying it to like the latest Zelda game. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
that that's the way to do it if you're gonna do these games because like the first one just kind of felt like this weird spin-off that didn't really matter. It had all these weird anime characters in it, and I don't know. It connected with people that it connected with, but like for the vast
Right.
majority of Zelda fans, I don't know if it was like that big hit or that big crossover event. But time, you give it enough time, you put the rose tinted goggles on, and you're just like, wow, what a great experience that was playing as all these different people and Hyrule Warriors. And like maybe in like 10 years when there's like a couple new Zelda games and new characters and maybe they do revisit it. So I think I'll pick the timeline here and say 60%. I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't be devastated though if that didn't pan out. Let's just say.
Hmm. I just think like I just don't know how you do it again unless we say we go another 40 years of Zelda and we get like all these new
Yeah.
characters and there would be a draw to have all those new characters. Then sure, but like we have so many characters in this already that I don't see it coming out anytime soon.
I don't think it's coming out like and maybe not even on the Switch 2's life cycle.
Mm-mm. Definitely
Um
not.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Delta, this is the last one we'll do from him. Nintendo will care enough to create any type of explanation for either the Wild Era being some type of merged timeline or it is just separate timeline. Let's just leave it at that. So a timeline explanation for these two games in the Era timeline. I am going to say 20% because I don't think Nintendo cares. I don't think that. I'll be honest. I don't think they ever cared. I think that Hyrule Historia, I've said before, was like a very, very fan servicey type of thing that they put out. I don't know
Hmm.
if they like regret doing it or not, but I just like wouldn't be. I don't know. I wouldn't be just thinking that they're going to be like giving you like kind of what you're looking for in terms of like this is where things fit. Like I think the timeline as it is right now, where it has the three branches and then like those games are kind of on their own thing. I think that's their explanation, and I think that's as good as you're
Yeah.
gonna get.
I thought, yeah, I was gonna say I feel like they already cared enough to do that in at least,
Yeah,
and that's what we get. So I don't think that they would change that in any way. I know, like we were talking about the other day, or mostly I was talking about the other day. Like other games are mentioned in Breath of the Wild, but I don't think it like wholly matters. It doesn't feel like they have any kind of effect. Like a lot of the timeline games do have an effect on each other, where all these other games don't really have an effect on Breath of the Wild Tears because it's so 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 far away in years. It's like almost hundreds of thousands of years at this point. So it like literally doesn't matter. They don't affect each other.
yeah,
Um so I mean, I just feel like we've already gotten the explanation that we need and or like that Nintendo wants to give us and that's it. Like I don't think we're getting
yeah,
anything else. So I'm going to say like 2%, I guess.
dude. Like after Age of Calamity, they really just don't care about like any of this timeline junk. It's just like here's the game. This is what happens. If you like it, great. If you have questions, well, we don't have answers, so you can make it up yourselves. Like I think that's their philosophy on this.
Mhm.
So yeah, and you know what? Maybe
And I'm
that's
not
not the worst
saying
philosophy to have either.
I'm not saying that we won't get other games in the future that just get added to the timeline or put in the timeline or put before the timeline or after the timeline or added to Breath of the Wild's timeline, and that's fine. I just don't think that the Wild area, the Switch games, we've got our explanation as far as Nintendo cares, and that's where we are. So
Yeah, I think so. Um, we actually had someone in chat that was asking if they could get in on the action, so they've got like one more minute here to go because we have a final Zelda's percentages left. This is from Corey Richmond. This is just for you, actually, Al. I'm not. I'll abstain for this. Corey says Corey will go to hell and find Andy there waiting for him.
I feel like that's just the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Let me tell you something, Corey. If you're dead, I'm still alive. I'm just gonna say I'll meet you there, okay?
What does that mean? Does that mean you killed him? Like,
well, I was thinking. Well, I guess it does kind of sound like I inferred that, doesn't it? I was thinking more so. You know when like Dwight is just like Dwight Schrute's like, oh, if there's an apocalypse, like you'll have all been gone for weeks, this kind of thing. You remember that?
yeah, I do remember that, but I don't know. Like,
I guess that's not quite the same, is it? I just said on air that I'm thinking of murdering a man. I'm not. I won't, Corey. I won't. I promise.
I just like that Corey's like, Corey will go to hell and Andy will be there waiting for him. It makes me think of like how our pets, they're waiting for us, you know, like when we pass and they'll meet us there, you know? And that's what it makes me think of. I'm like, that's so sweet. Like, like
Well,
what a cute way to end the rivalry.
We
Meeting up together in hell.
we are a romantic pairing. What can I say?
I love it.
Okay, let's do one more. This is from Pikachu420 in chat. Thank you for getting your question in here. Will we get a realistic Zelda in terms of graphics similar to Twilight Princess on Switch 2? Here's what I think realistic graphics is actually like the Wii U tech demo that they did.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight Princess like tried to be realistic, but it also tried to be just like contorted and twisted and ugly and just, you know, like just ugh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like completely rule it out though, because I think we do need a new graphical style for the next Zelda game on Switch 2. I'll say, I don't know, 20%.
I would say 46%. When I think realistic, I think of games like Horizon, Jedi Survivor, Final Fantasy stuff. You know, like they look like more like people than cartoons, I guess. I feel like we could get there. I don't know if I want that, but I feel like we might go in that direction. So I'll just say 46 because I feel like it could go either way.
Yeah, I guess like realistic to me, I'm thinking like specifically like something akin to Twilight Princess or the Wii U tech demo. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think Nintendo usually does like stylized or whatever, but I mean like because typically they don't have the hardware. But man, you look at that Metroid Prime 4 trailer and like, oh my god, that just looks like absolutely incredible. So they could do this and they could make it look fantastic, I think. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I will say I maybe the chances actually go up because I could totally see them doing like a game that kind of like looks realistic to match the aesthetic of the Zelda movie almost, you know?
Ooh,
I could totally see that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Here we go. I think that's it, Al. I think that's all. I got Link. I got Zora here. Got the full house.
I got Loki. He's been waiting for me to let him out and feed him. So.
Well, we better not delay because I know how cats get when they are hungry. So, okay. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you to my A-list partner for coming in clutch with me on this week. And yes, we are indeed going to get out of here. We thank everybody for watching us. If you ever want to watch these shows, we stream them every week on twitch.tv/Zelda Cast. You can see our technical snafus, our pets, all that kind of good stuff as we do these shows. So, you can see Al glaring at me as we talk about A-list versus B-list actors as well. So check us out. It's a fun time. And if you do miss us, by the way, these entire shows with like our faces are uploaded to Zelda Dungeons YouTube every week as well. So check it out if you want to there. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Go like and review and follow and rate and recommend all that kind of good stuff. If you got a Zelda fan in your life, tell them where they can get their weekly Zelda fix. Patreon.com/SPNet is where you can go if you really want to level up your Zelda Cast experience. We have bonus shows, not only Zelda Cast bonus shows, but there's Metroid stuff there, there's Lord of the Rings stuff there, there is Zelda cartoon stuff there, Captain N, lots of good stuff there. So go and check that out. And give us a follow over on Blue Sky, at Spiteri316, at Allison Aletha, and at the Zelda Cast. And that, my friends, is going to do it for us. So, until next week, let's make sure we upload the right episode this time. And we'll see you then. Ciao.
Bye.
Hey everyone. If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.